Hi everybody, and thank you for tuning in to our second Aroha Propcast. So today we wanted to go over, let you get to know a little bit more about us, be really open and honest with why we're here and the journeys that we've been on, and hopefully inspire some of you to really push yourselves and go out and achieve your goals.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a little bit more about us and how we got to where we are,
Yeah.
and why we've collaborated and why we hoping to
Why we are what we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Okay, so fun first question.
And also, I just need to bounce in on this one.
Go on.
We don't know what we're going to ask each other,
No.
so some of it could be embarrassing, some of it could be funny, some of it could be upsetting. But the whole point to the episode is obviously you get to know us inside out.
Yeah, great. Okay, so first question.
Okay.
I'm really excited.
I'm
to
not
hear your
reaching my
answer.
hand. I'm getting nervous.
If you could pick a theme song for our estate agency, what would it be?
I feel like sometimes we're chasing our tails, and we're like 10 speeds ahead, and all
some of
running
the
round
random
after.
stuff that
We
goes
are,
on,
yeah, we're
people
random.
would just not believe.
No.
Yeah, I think
Like,
you're
what is that
exactly
theme tune?
I don't even know. Does anyone know? If anyone knows, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Because that'd be. But I think that's perfect. And you just picture someone running around like crazy.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but I think I've always said that.
Yeah,
that
I think that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Let us know.
Okay, do you want to ask me a question?
I do.
Should we start?
So this is just like very generic, but
Okay.
I want to know. I want you to answer who you are.
Okay.
In terms of your qualifications and what got you on that chair today.
What got me here?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as life, I obviously did a little bit in the police force and learnt how to deal with people,
Yeah.
mainly for bad reasons, but sometimes that pays off in
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then I literally left and found a part-time job as an estate agent.
How did you find that job?
It was in the newspaper. That's how old and long ago it was.
Oh gosh.
It's in the newspaper.
Which paper?
The Review.
Is that...
Yeah. I remember literally circling it and being like, oh, I might try that. Being an estate agent sounds so easy.
Why did you want to leave the police force?
That was because I was in a bad situation with someone that was in the police force with me. And it kind of forced my hand really. And
Okay.
I had to go and I had to kind of change and take a totally different career path because that's where I thought I was going to stay.
Okay.
And
Why, when you seen that advert in the paper, what sort of gravitated you towards that role?
so I just thought it would be really good fun, really easy. I thought it would be great that you could just nose around people's houses.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds like a really nice, easy job.
Yeah.
So that's why I applied. And I got it, which was good.
Can I just say,
Go on.
I think you're a lot better at estate agency and selling houses than you probably would be in the police force because you're too soft.
I was terrible. I'd let people off all the time.
Oh, great.
Which
You
is
definitely
good.
won't be going back to that then.
No, they're not going to take me back on, are they?
Okay, well, that's a bonus. I think you're doing really well.
It's skills that we've learnt. And
Absolutely.
the nice thing is it's not very often that I bump into people from my previous job when I'm valuing houses.
Okay, and how long have you been in the industry?
2011.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when I got my first job. And then I was there for about 7 months and then took on full-time management role.
That's amazing.
Which was awesome and very exciting.
Yeah.
And it was in Chepstow, which was quite a cool place to be.
Absolutely.
And then, just kind of built up from there. Worked at a few other local estate agencies, managing them, opening some of them. And then we kind of decided to go out on our own. And me and Scott kind of set up with someone else initially, which was a learning curve.
Yeah. We can probably save that bit for another time.
Yeah, I think it gives you experience, it gives you life lessons.
100%.
And it completely shows you who you do and don't want to work with, and it makes you more driven, I think, to do it yourself.
Okay.
And then we came together.
Yeah. Nearly 3 years strong.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I obviously knew about you and everything that you did.
Yeah.
And approached you, and we were like...
Which is actually quite a bizarre combination, really, because...
Yeah.
No, it is, because you know me quite well, and I don't mean like any offence by saying this, but as a rule, I don't really get on very well with women, which is really bizarre considering I'm trying to empower them, and I work with a lot of women, and hopefully, you know, encouraging and empowering a lot of women. Where Scott falls in line with that, but maybe he sorts us out a little bit. But yeah, because I'll tell you how I feel. Like I've met my match, but in a different energy.
Yeah, we're
level.
totally different, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that.
Thank you for that.
That's okay. That's fine.
Okay. I don't know if anybody knew that, but the police force, crazy.
I know. Mad.
Okay.
People hate me even more now. Okay, so this is an interesting one.
Okay.
If me and you swapped roles for the day,
Yeah.
what do you think I would mess up the most?
Everything. You would never be very good in lettings, no offence. You're brilliant at selling your job, Rob, but you're too kind, you're too much of a yes person.
I feel like I would feel sorry for everyone and want to give them all houses.
Yeah.
Because so many people apply for one house. How can you get like 30 people down to one person, and they all tell you like how terrible things are for them and that they really need it?
It's a difficult one because you've got to have a big heart and you've got to have thick skin. To have both is very difficult, but you do find over time it just comes naturally.
Yeah, sure. So I'd mess up everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't think it's the role for you.
No, I think you're right. I literally, I'm the only one in the office that, what do? I literally pick up the letters phone.
Just appease to everybody,
and I'm
which
like,
is nice.
oh, I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, I think it's nice. And you are. Yeah.
It's hard.
That's yeah, I think that's
where our roles are like, you do what you do best, I do what I do best.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? And
yeah.
We help each other along the way, but we know what we're better at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, come on then. Hit me with another one.
I want to ask, what is your definition of success?
Oh gosh. So I think for me, similar to you, it's having money is great, but it's not all about money. I think it is about being able to live the life that you want to live. And I guess that's why everyone goes into business and wants to work for themselves, to have that freedom, which, by the way, when you do go into business, you don't have that freedom. No. It's really, really hard. And it is, you work harder than if you worked for someone. Everything massively counts.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy thing to do, but I think after like 3 years, we're starting to build and get somewhere to where we want to be.
Can we touch on, I think it was within 6 months of us collaborating that you fell pregnant.
Yes.
So not only did you just set up a new company with a company and move house and move back.
And renovate a house.
Yeah, renovate a house. Fall pregnant as well. So you managed to run a business, renovate a house and have a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's
which was
that's
crazy,
women
really.
power.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You didn't give up. You haven't given up. So that's something I admire about you.
Yeah, you've got to just keep going, haven't you?
Yeah, I want to say I couldn't do it. I did do it, but not that early.
I think like once you start something, you've just got to go with it. And bless him, Georgie Puds, he was out on viewings after I think 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I had a C-section and I was out doing viewings with him at 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people would do that. But when you're driven and you just want to push forwards, that's what you do, isn't it? And it's a family business. We're all a little team, and he's the little baby of the group. Well, he's 2 now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Lucy has 2 children, not just one, just so you know. So working, a full-time business, 2 children, family house. So there's no excuse, is there really?
Yeah, but you have lots going on as well.
Yeah, but
that's not easy.
Still.
But yeah, so I think for success, it is the freedom to be able to live the lifestyle with the kids and like do things that you enjoy.
What was your definition of success before the children?
I just thought you needed money. I just thought it was all about like working for someone, getting as much money as you could, and that was it. But then,
do you think if you didn't have the children and you were working for just purely money alone, that would have made you happy?
no, I don't think you'd be satisfied.
What makes you happy now?
Happy now is being on holiday with my children, spending time with them, seeing their little faces, and knowing that I'm doing the best I can for them. That's happiness.
Yeah.
I guess everyone's got different goals though, haven't they?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's for me what it is. And it's like when you're selling people's houses, it's for them and their family and helping them achieve their goals. So kind of all mixes in, I guess.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. It's fine. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay,
Hit me.
I'm going to ask you a hard-hitting one now.
Hit me with
Okay.
your rhythm stick.
Who inspired you to start your estate agency?
My daughter's dad.
Okay, that's controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I originally started out for a successful and local family-run company,
And
which
how long
had
were you there?
13 years. So
That's
they
a
had
lot.
3 branches. They had Ross-on-Wye, Colford and Lydney.
Mhm.
So I started at Lydney, I think it might have been between 3 and 6 months after they opened the Lydney
Okay, so
branch.
fairly new to them starting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the chap I worked for at the time originally worked for, I want to say, the Ross office, and then helped with the Colford office and built that one up, and then wanted to set up the Lydney
In
branch. So
Lydney.
he worked in collaboration with the company that he'd originally gone to work for.
Okay.
At the time I was working for Cavendish House, measuring underwear, which was quite interesting.
Which is another skill that nobody
It's another
has.
skill. I've got lots of strings to my bow. And then 13, no, it wasn't. It would have been 12 years later. I'd met my daughter's dad. We'd gone on a few holidays together, and he basically just said, "I think there's more to you than this. I think you've lost the passion for the company you work for. I can see that you're really, really good at it, but I think you've got more meat to the bones. I think you need to try and."
He wanted to push you.
I think you can do it on your own. And
Okay.
I was absolutely adamant that was never ever going to happen. Firm on it.
Yeah.
Firm believer. I didn't even think I could do the job that I was doing, even though I'd
Which
made
is
it for 30.
insane.
Yeah. But I wasn't a very confident person, believe it or not. So that sort of falls in line with sort of the job role that I'd sort of taken on.
Yeah, sure.
And then he'd come back from New Zealand sort of at the infant stages of our relationship, and he said, if we were to set up a company for you, hypothetically, I know you don't want to do it, but what would you call it?
Yeah.
And he brought back a little plaque that said Aroha.
Loved it.
I didn't know what Aroha meant, and I asked him what it meant, and it when I looked it up, he said, "Oh, you'll have to have a look yourself." Looked it up, it meant love.
Yeah.
So I thought that was brilliant. And then when he'd asked me, it was sat in the window in the kitchen.
And we've still got it.
We've still got
Yeah.
it. It's in the office. And I said, I don't laugh. Or I said I'd like to call it. It would have been Aroha Lettings and Property Management at the time.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, we've changed since then. But I think it was a week or two later, I came home and there was a little bit of paper on the table, and it was a company's house document.
Yeah.
And he'd set the company up.
Aww.
So at that point, I just thought, there's no way I can let him down.
Yeah. And that was the push that you needed.
It was the push I needed, because I felt I needed to prove to him that I was capable of what he thought I was capable
Yeah,
of.
sure.
So I still didn't believe in myself.
But you wanted to prove him.
I felt like he believed in me, and I think the support that I was given at the time
Yeah.
and the motivation was enough to give myself a chance, take that leap
Yeah.
of faith and give myself a chance. And that's exactly what I did.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think everyone now, knowing where you are, would really struggle to hear you say, like, you didn't have the confidence, you didn't know you could do it.
Absolutely
Because
not.
you literally, are amazing now, and it's just, what a journey.
I cried every day, and Robert I to this day, I cried every day for probably nearly a month. I just couldn't believe that I'd left a brilliant, successful, fabulous job with a company that felt like family and home to me, to go off on my own, to sit in a unit office space above like a maintenance shop,
And start out.
sit on my own, trying to create a website on my own, trying to generate business on my own.
It's a lot to deal with.
It was scary.
Yeah.
and I'd go home and it felt quite lonely actually at times.
But I think that's the thing you miss, isn't it? Like when you work from home or when you haven't got a team around you, you've got no one to like have banter with. You've got no one, like if you're having a bad day, there's no one there to kind of deflect things or help you. So it's
I had Rob.
a weird place.
I had Rob, but I didn't have anybody to lean on that knew the business and that understood my head and understood where I was at.
Yeah.
And I can understand now why he left me to it, because if he hadn't have left me to it and I did try and lean on him even more, I don't think I would have made it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the answer to that is, my daughter's done.
Yeah. So something positive.
There's always something positive out of every situation. And my daughter.
Yeah. Who is amazing.
What I've got now.
Yeah, and what we've built.
It's going to be a legacy, hopefully.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
That made me a bit emotional.
Ah.
See, there is a soft side.
Yeah. It does exist somewhere, deep down. Deep down.
Everyone knows it, really.
Wow, I don't know about that. So, we have had a couple of questions come in from the podcast last week.
Awesome.
So, would you like me to just read this one out?
Yeah, go on then.
It is aimed at both of us, so let's just see where this goes. This one is from a very, very good friend of mine.
Okay.
Emily Timmins. So for me, she's a success story in herself, and hopefully at some point during our podcast, I would like to have her on board and talk to you about her journey with her own business and personal journey. So, but that's something we can go on. We could talk about another time. So she has wrote in. Hi Chris and Lucy, I'm loving the new podcast and currently in the process of starting up my second business, and I'm really enjoying being part of a startup again. However, this time around I'm a mum of a 16-month-old and I'm struggling to find the time and the energy, etc. I wondered if you had advice on how to manage your mum guilt.
Oh my god.
Your mum guilt whilst trying to pursue big career goals.
It's so hard, isn't it?
So this is where you didn't know this question. I knew it because it came into me. And please don't think I don't have a heart, but I don't have mum guilt. You did, and you still do to a certain degree. So I can't answer that one. I don't have mum guilt. I love my job, I love my daughter, but I don't ever feel guilty about coming in and letting her do her thing. So I think this is probably more aimed at you than it would be at myself, if that's okay.
I think it is really hard, and I've struggled with it. I mean, like I said, I was taking George to viewings when he was like 3 weeks old, and I think you always try and compare yourself to other people, and the problem is when you are a young mum or when you've got young children, so many of the people that you're surrounded by are like the picture perfect mums that don't work, that literally like have this amazing, well, on the face of it, an amazing life, and they do everything with their children and everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at that and then you're seeing yourself wanting to work, and then you feel guilty for wanting to believe in yourself, wanting to push yourself. You've got all these hormones and all these things going on as well. And so you feel guilty for wanting to be you and wanting to work, but you also feel guilty that you're letting the children down too. So that's what I found. It's really hard.
How have you managed to separate your feelings, or are you still in that place where you feel...
I mean, you have good days and bad days. I think everyone does. But I think it's having like a structure and a separation and knowing that what you're doing is for them. And it's to make those memories and do those things with them. That's why you're working so hard.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to put some boundaries in place, which again is easily said when you're trying to set up and you're trying to do things. But it's having those, this is my day with the kids. I'm going to be with the kids today and try and not get dragged in or get into work.
Yeah.
And just spending that quality time with them when you can.
I think my answer to that is you think of your children before yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas this is going to cause mixed feedback on me, but I think of myself before my daughter. So my reason behind that is... if I'm in a good headspace, if I'm in a good emotional space, if I'm in a good place, my daughter's in a good place.
Mhm.
But if the shoe's on the other foot and I'm trying to constantly, appease her and make her happy, how can a child make me happy?
Mhm.
So I think I put myself first, the business, and if I'm happy, if I go home in a good emotional, stable, which is, debatable, but like if I'm in a good space,
Yeah.
she's in a good space.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I don't feel guilty, because I am doing everything for her, but I do it for me first for her, yeah. So like, I think it's...
I think it's different ways of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And some people would disagree with both of us on that. I mean,
I
don't know.
agree
It's really
with
hard.
that, and
But everyone's different.
there's going to be judgment whichever way.
I don't think either of us would be happy though if we were just that stay-at-home mum.
And if we were the same person, we would not get on.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I do drag you out to children's parties.
you do drag me. Excuse my French, bloody hate it. I hate it with a passion.
You did go to Sienna's, which was a positive.
I didn't even enjoy that. I don't like it.
I get to a point now where I invite you and then say, I know you won't want to come, but I'm just inviting you so you don't think I'm being rude.
And we can also just state that I was invited 2 days ago to George's birthday. I didn't turn up.
No.
I didn't even tell Sienna because I knew that she'd made me go and I wasn't going to go. So...
But we know that.
So mum guilt, I think, is just working on... For me, mum guilt's working on yourself and making sure that you're in a good place. And what lessons have you learnt about self-care whilst balancing the demands of work, health and parenthood? I love this one.
I feel like this is very much a good question for you to answer.
I love this one. I think this is just something that comes, for me personally, that's come with time. So, like, obviously starting out on my own, it was extremely stressful, and I was working 7 days a week, and I think my self-care completely got put to the wayside.
And that's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? But naturally, that's what we do when we're stressed.
I just exhausted myself. I really exhausted myself, and again, thankfully at that point, where I just wanted to keep going and going and going, my daughter's dad at the time was like, Chris, you need to press the reset button. We need a holiday, and I was panicking about going away on holiday.
But that's because you do, don't you?
Trying to manage properties whilst I'm abroad, and we were going away for 5 weeks. So this was New Zealand to climb Mount Aroha, which is something I should have been really, really, really looking forward to, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So at that point, thank God, Rob's nan stepped in actually, which was bloody brilliant. So we managed to get away for 5 weeks. She managed the office. She took the calls, emails.
Oh my God!
Yeah, we called in on each other. She was brilliant.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
So I had her on tap pretty much, which was fantastic.
How amazing! And you got that amazing holiday.
So I got my little bit of self-care, and it did give me the reset button. He was absolutely spot on, and it gave me a chance to reevaluate how I wanted the business to work, where I was going to go. I set new little milestones, like new business goals, and within 8 months of opening the company, I had moved from a little office space down to a high street office space above an insurance company.
Amazing.
I started going back to training. I was looking after myself, running. I was doing Pilates. And I just started feeling so much better.
Yeah.
But I think what's the word I'm thinking of? The tipping point for me in terms of looking after my health and self-care was having my daughter.
Yeah.
She literally, 10 weeks old, I was back at the gym. And again, her dad at the time was like, you need to have at least 1 day a week to yourself. You have to. And whether you like it or not, whether it's going to cause arguments, you're having that day off.
Yeah.
And you're spending it, whether you're going to sit at home and watch TV or whether you want to go to the gym.
I can't imagine you ever sitting at home watching TV.
No, absolutely not my bag at all. But I just seen the fruits of it. And like, I try and apply it now. I try and apply it.
You tell me.
With you, with everybody else in the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's important to have your holidays. It's important to set that day aside a week, and I completely appreciate if you're trying to work solely on your own, it is difficult, but it is also possible. You manage your own diary, you manage your own health. Without health, you've got no wealth. Without wealth, you've got no health.
That's the key thing, isn't it? You have to do that.
Yeah. So, so what did she say? Self-care, that we touched on that, when the demands of work. Well, again, you manage your own diary. You're a yes person. You say yes, yes, yes. I agree with that, but also if you're not working at full capacity yourself, how can you give them everything that you've promised to? But I think
that's a lot that you've taught me. Like, we talk about like us being different and bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
So I hit a point, didn't I? Gosh, I don't even know how long ago it was now. 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Where although we were growing, we were doing amazingly well, and we had a team around us. It was fab. But I had not learned to let go, I was still trying to micromanage and control everything, and just got myself so stressed, so worked up. I forgot about everything, like self-care, everything like that just went out of the window, and it was just like crazy worrying about working and the kids.
I feel like you hit rock bottom, and I also felt like we could have come to loggerheads because you were too absorbed in not letting go.
Yeah.
And I think, again, once you had learned that actually letting go didn't mean you was going to lose the business, it just meant letting go of the control side. That is when you actually, you flourished.
It's when you start, you actually, it makes no sense because naturally it's the first thing that you do. Is like, I'm so busy, I can't go to that fitness class, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But then once you start making time to work out, to feel better about yourself, taking time out, then actually you sit back, you feel better, you've got more energy, you're more motivated, and then everything is just so much better. And it's not an easy journey, like I'm still on it now.
Yeah.
But like being burnt out and everything is
burnt out is a good one. That's
horrendous.
Something else that I've made some notes. It is horrendous, and I've been there. So whenever I try to like have that conversation with you, I feel like I'm talking to my past self.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the only person that can change you is you.
Yeah.
And I think you've definitely...
And you've got to get yourself in the right mindset and start that journey. And it's never easy. But I think self-care, taking that time is so important for anyone. 100%.
Yeah, agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I love that question.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Thanks, Emily. I love that one. That was really good.
Really good.
So, if we wrap this up... But before we wrap it up, there was something I wanted to say in terms of reaping the rewards, and I did see a quote that said, "I think you need to embrace discomfort to reap the rewards of long-term benefits," and that massively resonated with me. So I want to end on that quote, and also ask that if you could like and subscribe our page. And with that we promise that we will do better, be better, and scale it down and try and get some people on board that are really going to sort of take this journey to another level. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, Lucy.
Thank you.
My pleasure's all mine. Anyway.
Thanks for the questions, and we will speak to you all soon.
I think it was just the case that
there must be a
saying.
Don't get bored of us. Please keep watching. I promise it will get better. It's drying up like a bun.
I know.